What happens when the man who built a business with his bare hands walks into one of his own stores and barely recognizes what it's become? Aiden Grant leaned back in his worn-out office chair, staring at a spreadsheet full of red flags. The last quarterly report from Store 11, one of his 19 shoe retail locations, didn't make sense. Sales were average, but returns were way up. Customer complaints had quietly tripled in the last 2 months. He'd asked for answers from the store manager twice and got the same shallow response both times: "We're just dealing with difficult customers lately." He hated that kind of answer. Dismissive, lazy, not how he built this business. Aiden had started this company out of the back of a van 15 years ago, selling sneakers at flea markets. He'd done everything: stocking, selling, sweeping floors. Now the brand had grown into a respected retail chain, but he was feeling the distance. He hadn't stepped foot in some of his stores in years. Store 11, located in a mid-sized shopping center in Ohio, was one of the newer ones. He'd never met the staff there, so he made a decision: he'd go in undercover. With the help of a stylist friend, Aiden shaved his beard, dyed his hair darker, and changed his posture and voice. He wore a faded hoodie, some old jeans, and thick glasses. He looked like a guy who just needed a part-time job, not someone who owned the whole company. He used a fake name, Eric. He applied as a seasonal hire through a third-party staffing agency they used for holiday overflow. Since the manager had never met him in person and turnover had been high lately, no one had any reason to suspect anything. When he arrived for his first shift, the manager barely looked up. "Name?" she asked, tapping on her tablet. "Eric," he said. She gave him a once-over. "You're late. Go find Vanessa. She's in the back. She'll show you where the stockroom is." Aiden blinked. He was 5 minutes early. He walked through the store, shelves half-straightened, music too loud, and a few customers lingering without help. A young woman with a tight ponytail was unloading boxes near the back. "You Vanessa?" She looked up, surprised. "Yeah, new guy." "Yeah, Eric." She gave a small nod. "Let's get you a badge. You're gonna help me with stock for now. Floor's a mess, but we don't have enough people today." They started working side by side. Vanessa was sharp. She moved fast, answered customer questions when they came by, and actually knew where everything was. She didn't complain, just kept going. "You always get stuck with this?" Aiden asked. "Lately, yeah. We're short 2 people. One quit last week and the other called out 3 times this week. Manager won't hire replacements." "Why not?" She says budget's tight, Vanessa said, lowering her voice. "But we've been slammed. And she mostly just stays in the office." Aiden took mental notes. Every few minutes a customer would ask for help, and Vanessa would stop to assist them even when another employee was closer and just ignoring it. On his second day, he met 2 other employees: Tyler, who spent more time checking his phone than helping anyone, and Jenna, a cashier who looked checked out but was polite at least. The manager, Rena, only came out to bark orders or complain about something being out of place. By the 3rd day, Aiden had seen enough. The store was being held up by a couple hardworking employees while the others coasted, but nothing prepared him for what happened next. It was a slow afternoon. Aiden was restocking athletic shoes when he heard a voice near the entrance. "Excuse me, could someone help me find a size 10 in these?" The voice was soft, a little strained. Aiden looked up and saw a man in his 30s in a wheelchair, holding a pair of running shoes in his lap. Before Aiden could move, Tyler walked over. "You know those are running shoes, right?" Tyler said, chuckling. The man smiled politely. "Yeah, Tyler cut him off. "Not sure those are really your thing, man. We got some comfy slippers over there." The man's face changed. He didn't say anything. Just slowly turned his wheelchair and started to roll away. Aiden's chest tightened. He stepped forward, furious, but Vanessa got there first. "Sir, I'm so sorry," she said, stepping in front of the man's chair. "We absolutely have those in a 10. Let me grab them for you. And if you want to try anything else, I'll bring it right to you, okay?" She glared back at Tyler. "Go clean the back wall." Tyler looked annoyed but didn't argue. Aiden walked up to Vanessa a moment later, trying to keep his voice even. You handled that well. I wish I didn't have to, she said. That guy comes in every few weeks, always polite, and Tyler always does this. Aiden nodded, jaw tight. Has the manager ever seen it? Probably. She doesn't care. Aiden felt a knot form in his stomach. He had seen enough. Tomorrow, he wasn't coming back as Eric. He was coming back as Aiden Grant. The next morning, Aiden didn't put on the hoodie, the glasses, or the fake name tag. He wore a clean polo and jeans, simple but professional. He stopped just before the front entrance and watched through the glass. Vanessa was already on the floor, folding shirts near the clearance rack. Tyler leaned against a display, scrolling through his phone. No sign of the manager. Aiden stepped inside. The chime above the door triggered a glance from Vanessa. Her brow furrowed, recognition flickered across her face. Wait, Eric, he nodded once, not quite. Before she could say anything else, he walked past her and headed straight to the office. He didn't pause, didn't knock. He opened the door. Rena sat at the desk, sipping from a tall iced drink, her feet propped up on a box of receipts. Her expression didn't change when he entered. You're not allowed in here. I'm Aiden Grant, he said calmly. I own this company. Her drink clattered slightly against the desk as she set it down. She stared at him, unsure whether to laugh or panic. I've been working here for the last 3 days, undercover, as a seasonal hire. She blinked but said nothing. I watched one of your employees mock a disabled customer. I saw you ignore what's happening on your floor. I saw Vanessa, who, by the way, is the only reason this store hasn't collapsed, manage your job while you sat back here doing nothing. Rena stood, suddenly defensive. You can't just walk in here pretending. I'm not pretending. You've had multiple complaints, rising returns, and a staff that's half asleep. I came here looking for answers. What I found was indifference. She folded her arms. You don't know what it's like to manage this store. I'm short-staffed, corporate cuts hours every month, and you expect this place to run like one of your flagship locations. I expect people to be treated with respect. I expect leadership. What I found was negligence. He stepped aside and motioned toward the floor. Let's go. She hesitated but followed. The moment they stepped out, Vanessa glanced over again, clearly confused. Aiden raised his voice slightly. Could everyone come here for a minute? Jenna emerged from behind the register, eyebrows raised. Tyler stayed leaned against the wall until Aiden fixed his gaze on him. Then, slowly, he approached. Some of you know me as Eric. My real name is Aiden Grant. I founded this company. I've been here undercover because I needed to see what's really happening at this store. Jenna's eyes widened. Tyler's mouth opened, then closed again. Vanessa looked stunned but said nothing. I saw a customer get insulted because he was in a wheelchair. I saw employees standing around while others worked nonstop. I saw a manager who barely left her office. That ends today. Rena's jaw tightened. You're making a scene in my store. No, Aiden said. I'm fixing one. He turned to Tyler. You made an assumption about someone based on how they looked. You embarrassed a customer in front of strangers. That's not a mistake, that's a choice. You're done here. Tyler opened his mouth, but Aiden cut him off. I don't need your explanation. Go. Jenna glanced at him, then looked away. Tyler turned and walked toward the exit without a word. Aiden turned to Rena. You've allowed this culture to grow. You ignored signs, avoided responsibility, and treated people like they were disposable. You're fired, effective immediately. Rena stared at him, red rising in her face. You'll regret this. I've been with this company for 3 years. And in 3 days, I saw more damage than those 3 years should have allowed. I won't let it continue. She stormed out without another word. The store went quiet. Aiden turned back to the employees who remained. I know this is a shock. You didn't ask for this. But starting today, things change. He looked at Vanessa. You're not just the hardest worker here, you're the reason this store has any chance of bouncing back. You've handled every situation with grace and professionalism. I'm promoting you to interim manager, effective immediately. Vanessa blinked twice. Wait, what? You've earned it. You already do the job, you just haven't had the authority to make real changes. She swallowed hard. I don't even know what to say. Say yes, he said. You'll have my full support, and I'll be here for the next week to help stabilize things. Vanessa nodded slowly. Then yes, Aiden turned to Jenna. I've seen you stay calm with customers even when things got tense. I need people like that here. But I also need to know, are you prepared to step up? Jenna hesitated. I've been trying to just stay out of the way. It's been rough, I get that. But I want to give you proper hours, proper training, and a team that actually works together. You in? She nodded. Yeah, I can do that. Good. We're hiring 2 new part-timers starting next week. In the meantime, I'll be on the floor with you. He didn't sugarcoat anything. The floor still needed reorganizing. The backroom was a mess. Customer trust had to be rebuilt. But this was the moment to start over. He spent the rest of the day helping to reset displays, answer customer questions, and take notes on what needed fixing. Vanessa moved with quiet confidence, now that she had permission to lead. Jenna became more vocal, taking initiative at the register. Even the atmosphere felt different, not easier, but clearer. By closing time, Aiden was exhausted. He sat on a stool behind the counter, stretching his back. Vanessa walked over, wiping her hands on a cloth. So, what now? Now, he said, we rebuild. Slowly but the right way. She nodded, then tilted her head. I have to ask, why come here yourself? You could have just sent someone. He looked at her, tired but resolute. Because I forgot what it feels like to stand on this floor. And I never want to forget again. The next morning, Aiden showed up before the gates were even unlocked. He stood just outside the storefront, sipping coffee from a paper cup, watching the sun climb over the edge of the parking lot. Vanessa arrived a few minutes later, keys in hand, her hair tied back tighter than yesterday, a clipboard tucked under her arm. She didn't look surprised to see him. Didn't think you'd be waiting out here, she said, sliding the key into the lock. I said I'd be here all week, Aiden replied. I meant it. The metal gate rattled upward. They stepped inside, lights flickering on in sections. The store always looked different in the morning, quiet, almost vulnerable, like the walls hadn't yet braced for the day. Vanessa looked down at her clipboard. Jenna's opening register. We've got just one floor staffer today, Sam. He's from the other location you pulled him from. I asked their manager for a loan, Aiden said. He's covering 2 shifts here this week. We'll still be stretched, but it's better than nothing. Vanessa nodded, flipping pages. I reorganized the schedule. Fairer hours. No more surprise closings or double shifts for anyone. Good. What about the back room? Still a mess. I'll hit it this afternoon. They split up. Aiden took the front half of the store, greeting early customers, checking signage, making mental notes of what needed fixing. Sam arrived shortly after, tall, soft-spoken, polite. He didn't waste time with introductions, just asked where he was needed and got to work. An older couple came in around mid-morning. They moved slowly, pausing every few steps, whispering to each other. The woman clutched a folded piece of paper, a doctor's note, maybe. Aiden walked over. Morning, he said. Looking for something specific, the man nodded. Shoes with a wider toe box. She's been having swelling. Aiden gestured to a bench. Let me get you a few options. Sit as long as you need. As he pulled boxes from the shelf, he noticed Vanessa speaking with a shipping driver near the back entrance. Her arms were crossed, her posture stiff. Aiden set the boxes down with the couple and crossed the store. The driver, a man in his 40s with a clipboard tucked under his arm, was pointing at a stack of boxes near the door. You're not allowed to leave them out here, Vanessa said flatly. Listen, I've got 3 more drops and no time to play storage coordinator. Then call your dispatcher. That's not our problem. These go inside, not in a fire lane. The man scowled. You corporate types always get twitchy about rules. She's not corporate, Aiden said, stepping in. She's the store manager, and she's right. The driver looked him over but didn't argue. With a grunt, he started moving the boxes inside properly. Vanessa watched him go, then turned to Aiden. This guy's dropped stuff here twice this week. Always argues about bringing it inside. Make a note. I'll speak to the logistics vendor. She scribbled something on her clipboard and headed back toward the front. Aiden lingered a moment. He wasn't used to seeing this side of his business, the small, daily conflicts that never made it into reports. Not dramatic, but constant. Draining in a different way, by early afternoon the store was busier. Jenna handled the register with more confidence than yesterday, tapping keys quickly, answering questions without hesitation. Sam worked the floor efficiently, staying in motion, folding displays, guiding customers toward sizes and styles. Aiden stepped into the stockroom to check on inventory. The room was tighter than he remembered. Stacks of boxes lined the walls, some half-opened, others unmarked. A folding table in the center had become a dumping ground for returns and mislabeled items. Vanessa stood at the far end, sorting through a pile of mismatched shoes. "These should have been sent back last week," she said. "No tags, no paperwork, just dumped here. Any idea who handled returns before? Tyler, mostly." She dropped a shoe into a bin. "Figures." Aiden crouched beside her, opening a few boxes, wrong sizes, torn packaging. Some looked like they hadn't even come from their inventory. "I'll have someone from HQ audit this next week," he said. "Get everything documented." Vanessa didn't look up. "I've seen worse, but it's like no one even pretended to care." Aiden stood, dusting off his hands. "They didn't." "But that changes now." They headed back to the floor just as a group of teenagers spilled into the entrance, all laughter and loud voices. One of them, a boy in a sleeveless hoodie, tossed a basketball up and down as he walked. Sam approached them, calm but firm. "Hey, no ball bouncing in the store, please." The boy paused, then deliberately bounced it once more. "Come on, man, we're just looking." "You're welcome to," Sam said, "but the ball stays in your hands." The boy held his gaze, then gave a small shrug and tucked the ball under his arm. They scattered across the aisles, pulling shoes off displays, talking over one another. Aiden watched from a distance, waiting to see how it played out. After a few minutes, one of the boys knocked a display sign off a shelf. Sam stepped in again. "That needs to stay up." The boy rolled his eyes. "Relax, man, it's not serious." "It is when you're disrespecting the space." "Why you sweating us? We're just trying shoes." Aiden approached then, slow and steady. "This isn't about sweating anyone," he said. "It's about treating people's work with respect. Clean up what you knocked over or you can leave." The group went quiet. The boy hesitated, then picked up the sign and set it back on the shelf. Without another word, they drifted toward the exit. Vanessa appeared beside Aiden once they were gone. "Think they'll come back?" "I hope so," he said. "Just not like that." The rest of the day moved fast. Aiden spent the late afternoon reorganizing a wall display with Sam while Vanessa worked through payroll logs in the office. Shortly before closing, a young woman arrived, wearing a red retail uniform from another store in the plaza. She looked nervous. "Hi," she said, glancing around. "Is Vanessa here?" Vanessa stepped out a moment later, her expression shifting when she saw the girl. "Hey, Tasha." "What's up?" "I heard you're running things now," the girl said. "I used to work here, last year, left after a month, couldn't deal with how I was treated." Vanessa folded her arms. "By who, manager, and one of the guys, don't remember his name, kept calling me names behind my back. Said I talked too ghetto to be on the floor." Aiden's stomach turned. "You report it?" "Tried, never heard back, I just quit." Vanessa looked at Aiden. He stepped forward. "I'm the owner," he said. "That never should have happened, I'm sorry." Tasha looked surprised. "I didn't expect that. Are you looking for work?" She hesitated. "Honestly, yeah, but I figured this place was a dead end." "It was," Aiden said. "Not anymore. You interested in giving it another shot?" Tasha glanced at Vanessa, then back at him. "If she's running it?" "Yeah." "I think I would." Aiden nodded. "Come back tomorrow for a proper interview. Vanessa will handle it." After she left, Aiden turned to Vanessa. "We're putting a sign on the door, 0 tolerance, discrimination, harassment, anything like it done. No warnings." Vanessa nodded without speaking. By the time they locked up, the store felt heavier but more real. Less about products, more about people. Aiden leaned against the front counter, rubbing his eyes. "You still good to keep going?" he asked. Vanessa leaned beside him. "I'm not going anywhere. I've waited too long to do this right." He nodded. Neither of them said anything for a while. The store was quiet again, but not vulnerable. It was starting to stand up straight. The next few days tested every inch of patience Aiden had left. Running a store short-staffed wasn't just about longer hours, it was about momentum. Every time one person slowed down, the whole system dragged. Vanessa spent her shifts juggling responsibilities she couldn't delegate yet. Jenna, while more engaged, still hesitated when things got chaotic. Sam, filling in from another store, kept things steady, but he wasn't a permanent fix. Every decision had to be timed, every move deliberate. There was no room for guesswork, and certainly no room for anyone phoning it in. By Thursday morning, Aiden had already spoken twice with the regional recruiter. They'd fast-tracked interviews, but even if they hired someone today, it would take at least a week before they were trained enough to carry their own weight. That meant one thing: more time on the floor, for everyone. The store opened with a line of customers waiting outside. Aiden unlocked the door just before 10, already wearing his stock apron. The moment the first customer walked in, a father with two small kids tugging at his sleeves, he knew it was going to be another long stretch. Vanessa emerged from the back room holding a stack of printouts. I updated the return policy signage. It's still the same policy, but people keep saying they weren't told about it. Aiden took one of the sheets and scanned it. This is clear. Put one by the register, one near the fitting bench, and maybe one on the back of the receipt. That'll help. It'll prevent a few arguments. That's worth it. By mid-morning, the store was crowded. One of the overhead lights near the clearance section flickered sporadically, and Aiden made a note to have maintenance out by Saturday. Vanessa floated between helping customers and re-shelving returns. Her pace was relentless, but her voice never raised, even when a teenager tried to argue about a price tag that had clearly been tampered with. Jenna, now fully responsible for the register, handled a line that never dipped below 4 people. There were no complaints, no delays, just the rhythmic beep of the scanner and the occasional quiet apology when she had to pause to fold an item correctly. Aiden stayed near the front, helping customers find sizes and answering product questions. Around noon, a middle-aged woman stepped into the store, glancing around with a guarded expression. She wore a blue coat zipped to her neck, and her eyes darted from shelf to shelf like she was looking for an exit. He approached gently. Looking for something specific, she hesitated. I'm trying to find shoes that won't aggravate a bunion. I've been to 3 different places. No one really listened. Aiden motioned toward the orthopedic section. Let's see what we can do. She followed him, still cautious. He asked a few questions, noting her walking pattern and which shoes had already caused issues. After trying on 2 pairs, her posture shifted slightly. These actually don't hurt, she said, almost surprised. That's usually a good sign. As she stood to walk a few steps, a voice from the front of the store cut through the background music. You've got to be kidding me. Aiden turned. A young man in a graphic hoodie had just stepped in. He was tall, early 20s, and his voice carried across the store. He stood next to Sam near the entrance, glaring at a display. Why'd you move the Jordans? They were right here last month, Sam replied calmly. They're in the performance section now. We reorganized. The man scoffed. You reorganized yourself into a joke. This place used to be decent. Sam didn't flinch. The newer models are in stock. I can show you. I don't want help from some temp. Where's the real manager? Aiden stepped in before Sam could answer. Right here. Is there a problem? The man looked him up and down. You're the manager, I'm the owner. The man paused, caught off guard. Whatever, you've got nothing I want. He turned and left without another word. Aiden glanced at Sam, who gave a slight shake of the head. He wasn't here to buy anything. Still appreciate how you handled it. Sam nodded and went back to folding shirts. By the time the lunch rush slowed, Vanessa finally took a break, sitting at the back with a sandwich she barely touched. Aiden joined her briefly. You're dragging, he said. I know, I'm trying not to show it. You're not, but you're running hot. You need 10 minutes without thinking about inventory. She leaned back against the wall. Hard to do that when I know we've got 2 more shipments coming and no one to sort them. Then don't think about them for 10 minutes. She didn't argue. She just sat there, eyes closed, breathing slowly. By 4, Tasha arrived for her official interview. She wore a pressed shirt and clean sneakers. Vanessa guided her to the office and they were in there for nearly 20 minutes before Aiden saw them emerge again. Tasha looked more relaxed. Vanessa gave him a small nod. She starts next week, she said. Part-time. She's got retail experience and knows the product line. Good. Let's get her a proper orientation packet. The rest of the evening passed without incident until a customer near the back flagged Aiden down. Excuse me. There's a kid trying shoes on and putting them back without socks. Aiden walked quickly toward the aisle and spotted a boy, maybe 9 or 10, slipping his foot into a display pair with no liner. His mother stood nearby, scrolling on her phone. Hi there, Aiden said gently. Just a heads up, we ask everyone to use socks when trying shoes. It helps keep them clean for other shoppers. The mother looked up, annoyed. They're kids, they're not sweaty. I understand, it's just company policy. She rolled her eyes. Where am I supposed to get socks then? We provide them at the fitting bench free of charge. She waved her hand dismissively and turned her attention back to her screen. Aiden crouched and handed the boy a pair of try-on socks. Here you go, buddy. These are yours to keep. The boy took them, quiet. Aiden didn't wait for a thank you. He just stood and returned to the front where Jenna was taping a handwritten sign to the counter. What's that? Someone asked if we sell gift cards. We don't have a sign for them. He read it. Gift cards available. Ask US. How straightforward. Clean lettering. That's good, he said. As the last customer left, Aiden locked the door behind them. The store was quiet again, lights humming softly overhead. Vanessa walked over, her face drawn but steady. Feels different in here now. It is, Aiden said. Jenna stepped out from the back, wiping her hands. We still have to sort the return bin. I'll do it, Sam offered. You both were on your feet longer. Vanessa hesitated. You sure? You've got another day tomorrow. Take the win. They let him. Aiden walked with Vanessa to the front. The air outside had cooled. The parking lot was mostly empty now. He leaned against the doorframe. I've been thinking about something. She folded her arms. You've already put me in charge of this place. Not sure what else you've got left. I want to start a training program in-house for employees ready to move into leadership. Her eyes narrowed slightly. You mean across all stores, eventually, but I want you to help build it. You've seen what works and what doesn't. I need someone grounded to shape the curriculum. She didn't answer right away. Then, you're serious? I've never been more. Vanessa looked out over the lot. I'm not a trainer. I'm not even sure I'm a long-term store manager yet. You're not. You're more than that. She was quiet for a long moment, then she nodded once. I'll help build it, but only if we do it right. No shortcuts, no buzzwords. No shortcuts, Aiden agreed. We build the kind of leadership we wish we had when we started. A beat passed between them. And Aiden? Yeah. Don't wait another 15 years before walking into your own store again. He smiled just enough. I won't.